Hello, my lovelies. It's Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, where we carry the largest selection of wood flowers in the United States. Welcome back to another tutorial. We're doing another deep dive on one of my favorite flowers. All of them are my favorite, obviously, if you've watched any of this series, but this one's still in it's in the top 10 for sure. She's a little bit of an OG. So let's break down this next flower. Let's open this up. All right, you guys. Today's flower, she only has one size, which is really disappointing in some ways, but we haven't been able to get her in multiple sizes. She is we love her. We love her so much. Her name is Frida. This is Frida. She is, I would say, I guess I would maybe kind of a rose style. Has a little bit of like those edges, those little sharper pointed petals, topped off, finished with a dried thistle in the middle. There is another flower that's similar to Frida and appropriately named Diego, we think. You know, if you know the story, Frida, Diego. But Diego has an extra little something special, and that is there's like little beads in the center part to add a little pop of something. We have, I think, right now it's white beads. We've had yellow and white beads in the past for Diego in the centers. Frida doesn't have that because she don't need it. She's perfect as is. We're gonna dye these a couple different ways. We're gonna play with a new technique. I just was like, I wonder if that works. So we're gonna try, see if it works. I might have actually tried something on the side just in case, because I didn't want it to be a complete muck up. It's not a muck up, but I don't know what it's all capable of. So we'll find that out together. All right, so let's jump into it. Now, before we dye these flowers, or this flower, it's only one size, 3-inch. I didn't mention that earlier. If you're liking these videos, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. We post videos pretty much once a week. Also, I have something for you. If you'd like, go check out ohyourelovely.com and I can give you a coupon right here. YouTube 30 to get 30% off one regular priced order. Okay, now back to the dyeing. It's always so weird when I say that. Just a reminder, this is the color story we're working with. Picked this a couple weeks ago. Today, I think we're only gonna be really focusing on our pink and purple. My pink, I just already mixed that up. You gotta get that purple again. I didn't have a regular cover for it, so it's in a container. When you're mixing up this paint, you really need to get at the bottom because it does start to stick and sit. So really, once you think you've mixed it enough, mix it just a little bit longer. And again, the paint will stay for a while. It is just craft acrylic paint or latex paint is typically what's being used. A 1-to-1 ratio of paint to water. Typically lasts for a while, but if it starts to sink a little weird, it starts to smell weird, that's your indication of the paint has gone bad and you probably do not want to use it to dye your flowers. But that's just me. You do you. You want stinky flowers. Who am I to say? Not saying a word. All right. I think that's good and mixed up. The other thing is, as we're doing this, you're going to want to mix it up every once in a while again. I'm going to grab another paintbrush. So we have 2 paintbrushes separately in there, so I'm not mixing and matching, sort of. All right, so today we're trying something different. In this little bottle is not water. Normally it is. And it's not water and glycerin. It is rubbing alcohol. So we're gonna try this as a way to diffuse the color and see what happens. We also have a spray bottle that's just water. No glycerin, but just water in there because I do want to open up some of these flowers. They're pretty open already, but let me just give you an example. I mean, that's so pretty, right? And the reason why we spray it with water is it softens the wood, activates it again as far as the flexibility of it, and it helps us not to crack or tear any of the petals. They're soft to the touch, but they're already set in like a place of shape. So if you just go straight in with nothing on there, you run the risk of cracking the petals or tearing. So there is the difference of it as is to being opened up. All right, so now that she's nice and opened up and she's still a little wet from the spray of water. Again, you could put glycerin on there, but I normally don't in these kind of situations. And I like to dry my flowers on egg cartons. That is a personal preference. Okay, so I'm going to just get some paint on the tips. Actually, I think we might be able to do this a little bit quicker if I just go in and twirl her a little bit. And I don't like that in there's not really a lot of paint on some of these inner petals, so I'm gonna go back in and kind of scrub some of that to add a little bit more. And normally in these kind of situations, then what I do, if I want to like diffuse the color, is I go in with a little bit of water, right? So we'll do that for this one, but then we're going to do the same thing but with the alcohol and see if there's a big difference or what the differences might be. Okay, so it activates that, it starts running, okay, and then what I like to do is go in with my fingers and kind of rub in that a little bit, kind of diffuse it even more with my fingers. And I feel like with this technique, I typically want to work kind of quickly before it dries out too much and I can't really get the paint to move. Okay. That is lovely. But now let's do that, but instead of using water, let's use the rubbing alcohol. I'm still going to use the water to open up my flower. Well, maybe. This one's pretty open. Okay, you know what? We're not even gonna open it with the water. We're just gonna go in. Again, I think this is 70%. And what happens, at least my first reaction, you still need to kind of buff it out with your fingers. But when the water activates, you get drips sometimes that go very far down with the paint. Where this, it's still like, you can rub out some of that color and diffuse it, but it doesn't travel nearly as far. It stays kind of concentrated where you're at. I think both techniques have different times and different places depending on what you are wanting to achieve. So let's give this another try. This time, how do I want to do this? Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna go in the center with my paint and I'm gonna scrub in the center with the purple. We've got one color on, or we've got it on there, and then we're gonna go in again to darken up the bottom and see if I can I'm actually spreading it with my nails to give it this streaking kind of color variation. I'm thinking you could do that with some sort of other tool as well. So I've folded everything else back. Okay, let's first spray it down with the rubbing alcohol, put our paint in there. So basically, it's not really necessarily blending in with the colors as far as it's not overpowering one over the other. They're just kind of blending together. And where I have some white spots, I'm going in. That is freaking lovely. Holy, the dimension, you guys. Jeez. Oh my God. I am hearing church bells. angels are singing. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Okay, let's try. I'm gonna dip dye a full one pink. Get our hands a little dirty. Dip dye it. And when I dip dye, that's usually when I kind of start opening up the flower more so than spraying it down with water first. Also, can we just take a minute before I put the purple on and do some other funky things with this? Can we just take a minute to just see how lovely this flower is just as is? I need that for the arrangement. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do a purple one real quick too while we're at it. Might as well, might as well. So you can see what they look like. Oh my gosh. I love this flower in every single color story I think I've ever seen it. There's not one time that I'm like, ooh, not that color, don't dye it that color. Every single color. I know that's looking very like royal blue, I think, on camera. It's a beautiful dark purple and matches almost perfectly that color story that we've been working on. And I just know that this is going to be absolutely amazing once we put some pink on that one too. Okay, so we're going to dip dye these guys in just a second. Okay. Oh my gosh. Like yellow, it looks almost like a sunflower sometimes. Like, oh. Sorry. Give me a moment. Oh, we already sprayed it that. So I already sprayed it down once with rubbing alcohol, and then I go in with a second one. Can you see that color variation? It's slight. It's definitely slight. I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it. Now the one thing, the more water and spray and things, you start to lose those rolled edges. That one was held pretty tight. You can go in if you want and try to re-roll those a little bit. Kind of pinch your finger and go back in, gently kind of rolling those edges. And when it dries, for the most part, it should stay in place. Might still have a couple that kind of lose formation, but you can bring those back. That's one of the easier things to kind of bring back as far as shape if it's lost while dyeing them or dip dyeing them or getting them wet with water. It's a lot easier than if you lose a curl, an inward curl. There's ways to fix those too, but they tend to be a little bit more tedious and don't always work as easily. So pretty. All right, let's do a pink one. And I think then we're gonna just wrap that up because I don't have much more to tell you. I'm in love. I think I said that already. So yeah, no more. No, nothing else. Nothing else. We're gonna go the opposite direction. I went purple on and I've got purple on my fingers, so I'm just gonna kind of rub that in just because I can. Then the actual purple is going to come in the center, scrub her in there. Of color, and then I'm going to again pull it out with my fingers a little bit. Oh, look at that though. We can kind of pull, that alcohol lets us pull some of that color out. Oh, this is cool. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. What? That's amazing. Oh my God. So you know when sometimes you dye it and it's a little too dark? This might be a fix for that. like in the middle of it, you go, wait a minute, and then grab, oh my gosh, sorry. It's so pretty. Oh my God, it's so pretty. I want to darken that just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Shut all the doors, not just the front door. Shut all of them. Holy buckets. All right, we're done. I can't keep playing because flabbergasted and messy, but flabbergasted. I will be right back and we will wrap this up. Holy buckets. Look how cute these turned out. And again, I just want to remind you, just dip dyeing them. Oh, they're so pretty. And you can do like a subtle color shift. Like this one just has the slightest pink on the edges versus this one. Except for the one has purple or pink because I accidentally put it on there. But I don't know if you can see that, but this one right here has the pink on the edges. This one doesn't. It just gives like a very slight change. And here are the dipped with water or used with water and then used with the rubbing alcohol for diffusing. I feel like, I think I said this out loud, but there's a time and a place. I feel like different techniques and different ways that it kind of runs and distributes. I really, really like it in terms of the being able to be layered, creating some crazy color dimension and like watercolor almost effect of like pulling different colors through. If you like more of a more, and I didn't do a true like color shift, but if you wanted to do a gradient with one single color, I feel like the water might work a little bit better. I don't know. We got to play with it a little bit more, but I'm definitely going to keep using the rubbing alcohol spray in my little bag of tricks when it comes to dyeing the flowers and giving them a little bit of depth and not perception. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the word I was trying to think of. It's not coming. I will say though, my throat feels a little funky with spraying the rubbing alcohol. So what I would say is wear a mask. That's what I will do next time. Cause there's a little bit of a fluff off happening. But yeah, rubbing alcohol, give it a try. See how that goes. Again, this flower is Frida, one of Maggie and my favorite flowers. I know we say that about everything, but I'm not lying. It's up there. She's up there in like the top 10 for sure. And I believe you guys think so too, because she usually is a very big top selling flower for us as well. So if you haven't yet, might want to get yourself some Fridas. She is only available in the one size. Maybe at some point we'll be able to go with smaller sizes or bigger sizes. That would be so much fun. But for right now, 3 inches. If you guys are interested in trying to grab some Fridas and see what beautiful things you can create with it, along with any of our 150 different style flowers, craft supplies, or greenery, go on over to ohyourlovely.com. But before you do, grab this code. Use code YouTube30 to get 30% off one regular priced order. All right, you guys. Again, if you love this channel, can't get enough, want to know the next time we post a video, which is typically once a week, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you're notified every time a new video goes up, which we have one more flower in our deep dive series, and then we're gonna take all of these and make something with them. I am still a little bit nervous of the color story. I did get a little funky right at the beginning and did some like crazy circusy kind of spinning wheel color things going on, but ooh, I should try that with the rubbing alcohol and see how that works. Anyway, maybe next week with the next video. And I think the only other technique we haven't really done another deep dive on, and I think I'm only gonna kind of touch on it, is airbrushing. So if you're interested in an airbrush tutorial, next week might be that week for you. Or not, you'll just have to tune in and see. All right, you guys, I'll see you super soon. I'm Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely. You, my friends, absolutely lovely. Bye, guys.